Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. So we were on the fourth canto and we are seeing the prasang of Raja Prithu. From Dhruva onwards, the Dhruva Charitra onwards, we have been seeing, and in the Vamsha of Dhruva, this Vena Raja comes, and Vena Raja is very, very negative, sinful. So the Brahmanas destroy him, and Bhagwan manifests as Prithu Raja. Prithu Raja does one yajna, and Indra becomes insecure. Bhagwan Vishnu manifests in the yajna and tells him to stop that yajna and also forgive Indra. And that is where we had stopped in chapter 20. Now, Prithu Raja agreed, and anyway the purpose of the yajna is to experience oneness with the Lord, and Bhagwan himself manifested there. So though he did not complete the yajna, but the objective of the yajna is fulfilled. Bhagwan's darshan happened. So Prithu Raja gladly stopped the yajna, and Bhagwan also was pleased with him and asked him to seek a boon. And Prithu Raja said, please give me 10,000 years. Meaning, obviously, it is not a physical boon that he is asking that we should have 10,000 physical years, but that may he listen more and more to the glories of Bhagwan. And that is where we saw Prithu Raja stopped the yajna, and everyone returned, those who had assembled, and he comes back to his kingdom. So that's where we start, 21st chapter in this fourth canto. So when he was coming back, so the whole city is decorated with pearls and flowers, and golden arches are made. Then there is incense, and there is water which is sprinkled with sandalwood, with flowers, with unbroken rice, fruits. The whole description which is given here, the whole city is beautified with stems of bananas, containing bunches of flowers, fruits, young arekas. This whole description is that the city is a very sattvic city. And also the people are dharmic. The material that has been described here will not increase vasanas. The materials used here are those which are used to worship Bhagwan. So the people of the city also, they are prosperous. So that is also indicated by saying that these women, they have polished earrings, and they were waiting with the arati plates to welcome the king. So to greet him with lights and presents, as well as all kinds of auspicious substances, curd, etc. Now the Raja is even being praised by the bards. So extolled by the bards, he is free from pride. He enters the palace amidst loud blowing of the conches, kettle drums, chants of Vedic hymns by the priests. Vivesha Bhavanam Viraha Stuyamano Gatasmayaha. Gatasmaya means free from pride. He's a great king. Bhagwan's darshan he had. Indra also sought his forgiveness, that I became jealous and I tried to obstruct your yajna. But this king does not have any pride. Gatasmayaha. That's how Bhagwan's darshan also happened for him. Now, so he was greeted everywhere. This king of great renown honored the citizens as well as the different classes of his subjects. So it was not only that, he is happy to receive glory and, the praises and applauses from the Raja. He also honors all of them. He also ensures that everybody is given appropriate gifts, dan, punya, etc. is done. Pujita pujaya masa tatra tatra mahayashaha. Pauranjana padan stan prita priyavara pradaha. So, by granting them boons which delighted them. Now, doing many such great things, this king rules for quite a long time. Now, this description, and he rules for a long time, and eventually he attained the supreme state of oneness with Bhagavan. So here it says, Kurvan Shashasa Vanimandalam Yashasfitam Nidhaya Ruruhe Param Padam. He ascended, meaning he realized oneness with the Lord. He is anyway one with Bhagavan. He is Bhagavan only who is manifested. But in the role of a king, he is playing the role of a king, doing the rule. And he did it in a very Dharmic way. And he was devoted to the Lord. And he set an example that is how the kings should be. So Vidur, and eventually he experiences oneness with the divine. As a role, that is the demonstration that Bhagavan did as Raja Prithu. Now Vidurji, so Sutaji is narrating that Vidurji asked Maitreya Rishi, that how did this king rule? And he was so devoted to Bhagavan. And whatever glory the kings have today, meaning people of power, whatever they have, is only a remnant of the glory of Prithu Raja. So please tell us about the way in which Prithu Raja ruled. What did he do? What are the great Dharmic karyas that he did? So now Maitreya Rishi, he starts. We are on the 11th verse now. Maitreya Uvacha. Ganga Yamunayor Nadyo Antarakshetra Mavasan Arabdhaneva Bubhuje Bhogan Punyajihasaya. So first thing he says is, the king lives in the area between this Gangaji and Yamunaji. And what is the bhav that he has? He enjoys only those pleasures which are earned. Ubhuje eva. Meaning not creating any new desires and new vasanas. Exhausting what is there in the past. Bubhuje bhogan. And with what attitude is he going through those? Punya jihasaya, only to exhaust the punya. Meaning going through the prarabdha. Arabdha means prarabdha, what has begun. Now if somebody says, Arey, but he is an avatar of Bhagavan, how does he have prarabdha? See, again I'm saying, this is the role that Bhagavan is playing and setting an example. Obviously Bhagavan doesn't have prarabdha karma. But through this, he is trying to tell us that we should live in this world in such a way that existing karmas get exhausted, new karmas are not added. Swamiji, how do we know which is the new karma getting added and which is the existing karma getting exhausted? Difficult to know, there is no doubt. Because what is getting exhausted what is getting exhausted is also getting exhausted through some desire. So how will I know this is a new desire or existing one? So one of the things that helps to understand is it is in line with my swadharma or not. If it is in line with my swadharma and I have to enjoy it to exhaust it, then that's all I have to do. Exhaust it with the desire, enjoy it with the desire to exhaust it. It is done and over with. In that process, there may be some times where a new desire also will come. If one is able to be alert, this is not in line with my swadharma or this is not dharmic. Those are, so dharma and swadharma, they are two very important criteria to help us exhaust the existing karmas, the prarabdha karma, and not create new ones. So if anything is not as per my swadharma, then I am creating new vasana for it. And that's why Bhagavan tells Arjun, Swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha in the Gita, 3rd chapter. If Arjun had gone to the forest, now he wants to meditate there. That is not in line with his swadharma. Oh, but he already went to forest earlier and he was meditating. That he was meditating to get divine weapons. He was not meditating to realize oneness with Bhagavan. And he was not going away from kartavya karma. That was a part of his execution of the condition which they had to fulfill, 12 years of exile and 1 year of incognito. So it's a part of his swadharma only. Now in the war, when he wants to go, before the war began, he wants to run away, that is paradharma. So his existing Kshatriya temperament will not get exhausted, plus new vasanas he will create. So any enjoyment, any work, any desire that we have, we should first ask, is it in line with my swadharma? One. If it is not, don't engage. Now that swadharma also is described by varna and ashrama. What is my temperament? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that is a varna, broadly. And what is my ashram? The stage of life, student, householder, retired, renunciate, which is the stage. Based on this, we will know whether this is my swadharma or not. And is it in line with universal values and dharma? Two very important criteria. And 3, with what attitude do I enjoy it? That is punya jihasaya. One can enjoy it with bhoga vritti, or one can enjoy with the bhavana that let it get exhausted. So if I enjoy it with bhoga vritti, then I am adding new asanas. Suppose one eats an ice cream, and that ice cream when one is eating, if one says, oh, how nice this ice cream is, and next time, after a few months, I will want to repeat this. Now one has increased, one will increase a vasana. If one says, ice cream is wonderful, I thank Bhagavan for blessing me with this. Enjoy it, over. No new vasana that next time I want to be happy or I want to eat something sweet, let me take this ice cream. That vasana is not created. So he was doing his duty. Same thing we have to apply for duties also. All the duties that we do it with the bhav that may this karma get over. Even the good one, that's why the word used is punya jihasaya. Papa to anyway one has to avoid. The punya, there is a desire to repeat punya many times. We want more punya karma. We do punya so that we will get more enjoyment. But punya only is to be exhausted. Here he is saying, arabdhena bubhuje bhogan punya jihasaya. Exhaust that punya, because ultimately punya also is bondage. Compared to what is our true state, punya also is bondage. To exhaust punya, we again have to take bodies. But because of punya, we may get good bodies, we may get good satsang, we can do sadhana, we will have enough whatever material wealth, etc. necessary. So punya has its relevance, but it is still like a bondage only. It is golden chain bondage. Other may be an iron chain bondage. It is still bondage. Other may be very strong bondage. It may be a light, weak bondage, but it is still bondage. So living in this world, doing our duties. Now, how will one do this? Only one method, dedicated to Bhagavan. When that happens, then it will get exhausted, new one will not get created. So he is living like that as a seeker. See, the point is the king is living as a seeker. If a seeker, the king has the bhav of a seeker and who is anchored in dharma, then the praja also will be able to do that. That will come ahead, we will see. So first point is that he enjoyed only such pleasures as has been earned by his past deeds, and that too with a view to exhausting his merits, not for just gratifying the senses, because the gratification of senses will anyway happen. But there is no bhoga vritti getting cultivated, because that will make us more extrovert and take us away from the self. So unasked what comes, one enjoys without creating further desire. Then he says that his commands were, Maitreya Rishi says that the commands of this king were respected everywhere, and he held undisputed sway over all the 7 main divisions of the earth. Meaning he was a Chakravarti Samrat, and it is said he was ruling all the 7 continents. Figuratively, it means that he was a very glorious king, but he was very humble, because it is said Brahmanas and the devotees of the Lord. Brahmana kulad anyatra chuta gotrataha. Except the devotees of Bhagavan Achyuta, meaning Bhagavan Vishnu, and Brahmanas, he respected them above everything. So the dharma, etc., he will tell the praja what to do, what not to do, and his, nyaya and justice and everything will be there for everyone. But Brahmanas and Bhaktas are exceptions. Not that they can do anything and get away with it. That's not the point. The point is, it will come ahead also, that these people they are supposed to live in austerity and devoted to Bhagavan. Their living in Dharmic way is a matter of fact. That is how they're supposed to be. Otherwise, they are not Brahmana and Bhakta. So that shows his reverence towards Bhagavan, towards the devotees, and towards Brahmanas. Again, the qualities he will mention, those are the qualities of Brahmanas, not somebody who is just born as a Brahmana. They may also have those qualities, but just by birth, that person doesn't become a Brahmana. So that is the second aspect. He ruled in a just way over the entire globe, but he was very humble and he revered the Brahmanas and the Bhaktas a lot. Then what did he do? He was a very dharmic person. Third point. So one day he organized a big yajna, and lots of people came. Many, devatas, heavenly beings, yaksha, kinnara, all of them, they also came. Brahmanas, sages, all of them came. And as per each one's position, they were appropriately given the respect, and they were welcomed, and they were seated, etc. And after that, the king rose. Amidst all of them, the king stood up. Now, he is a king. Why does he have to stand up? See, this is the bhav here. In this 14th shloka, he says, Utthita sadaso madhye taranam Uduradiva. Amidst all the Sabhagana, the people who were sitting there, he stood up, and it is like the moon rising amidst so many stars. That's the example given here. So he stood up. As a king, he can stand and talk also, and everybody will listen. But that's the bhav. Namrata is there, and he wants to address everybody. So he stood up. And the description, Maitreya Rishi gives his description of his handsome body. He says he's tall, he has brawny long arms, fair complexions, eyes as the lotus, shapely nose, lovely countenance, gentle in appearance, rounded shoulders, beautiful teeth, winsome smile, full of vigor, broad chest, bulky hips, belly shaped like a leaf of holy fig tree. And he has 3 lines, meaning his stomach, there are 3 packs. Then his navel is deep. His thighs resembled a pair of gold pillars. His feet were slightly elevated in front. Kanchanoru Rudagrapat. Agrapat, meaning his feet are little elevated. The hair on his head was fine, curly, dark, sleek. His throat was marked with 3 spiral lines like those of a conch shell. And he had minimum dress but grand, royal. 1 cloth around his waist, 1 cloth on the top. He didn't define himself through the clothes and lots of costly things, etc. Simple person, but what is befitting a king, that much also he had. Then it is said here that, see, when a yajna is done, the Raja or whoever the Yajman also is, has to live in tapas. They will do upvas, they will follow certain rules, they will eat only certain food, they will do certain amount of japa, all that is required. So he was under this tapas because he has taken this sankalpa to do this great yajna, this havan. And so he did not have too many jewels and all that. The natural beauty of his limbs was manifest. He was wearing the ring of kushagras. So generally when a ritual is done, then that person, the yajman or the pujari or the brahmana, they will all wear the ring of kushagras, which will also remind them that they are in tapasya. Also it is said kushagras can absorb the vibrations created by the chanting of the Veda mantras, etc., and transfer it to the body, as well as the kushagras is also kept in the panchapatra, where the water is filled, kushagras is kept, and at the end of the ritual that water is consumed by people or given to the attendees as tirtha. So he is wearing the ring, kushagras ring in his hand, very graceful. He finished all the duties appropriately as per the time, whatever he has to do, whatever the brahmanas have told him, that he has all that he has done. Now he gets up. He has already got up. Now he wants to address the praja. So he looks at the praja. His eyes, the looks from his eyes, they are very soothing and they can remove the sorrow of people. And thrilling the whole assembly with delight, he started speaking. The qualities of his speech are given here in the verse 20. Charu, meaning his speech was very delightful, charming to hear. Charu. Chitrapadam, full of expressions which will help people to visualize. Very expressive speech. Shlakshanam, and with good words, qualities, meaning the richness of the language. Then mrishtam, very polished. Gudham, in few words, very deep message he can convey. Does not have to go on elaborating many things. Gudham. Aviklavam, uninterrupted by any emotions, in the sense any distractions. Aviklavam. Sarvesham upakarartham. Why is he speaking? What is the motive behind his speech? It is the well-being of everybody. He does not want to just glorify himself or speak some gossip or do some small talk. What he is speaking is for the well-being of all. Sarvesham upakarartham. Tada anuvadan iva. And he was recounting his own experience for the benefit of all. So from his experience he is speaking. That's what it means. Not some only book knowledge. From the experience. Now with what bhav he starts addressing them? So first of all he says that I am not giving you any advice as a king. I am a seeker, and a seeker must present his ideas and his thoughts to the wise people. So I am presenting it to you. Sorry. So he says, I am presenting that to you. Satsu jignasubhir dharmam avedyam swa manishitam. 21st verse he says that. Raja Uvacha, in that he says. He says, Sabhyaha shrunuta bhadram vaha sadhavo ya ihagataha. That all the people, great people who have come here, everyone assembled in his assembly, may there be auspiciousness to you. Now, all of you are great, noble people. I am a Jignasu, and the tradition is the Jignasu must present his ideas in front of wise people so that one may get more clarity, and any errors, if they are there, one can correct. So with that namrata, with that humility, the Raja addresses. He says, I am a Jignasu. Now, what does he tell the Praja? This is the Upadesh of Prithu Raja to his subjects. The main theme of this chapter is that. Aham dandadharo Raja prajanamiha yojitaha. So, he says that I have been assigned this role of a king. Prajanam iha yojitaha. Raja yojitaha. I have been given this duty of a king. And what is my duty? Dandadharaha. Danda means a scepter. A Raja is the one who holds that. So what is the duty of the holder of this scepter? Danda, one who holds that danda. What does that mean? Rakshita vrittida sveshu setushu sthapita prithak. So he says three things, very important. One is I have to punish the evildoers and protect the people. That is his first job, Rakshita. Those who are doing adharma, they have to be punished, and those who are doing dharma, they have to be protected. First duty of a king. So he narrates his duties first. Then vrittidaha. Second, he says, I have to ensure that employment is given to people, the economy is growing. Vrittidaha. Sveshu setushu sthapita prithak. And he says that all those things have to be, the wealth should be increased, economy should grow, but within the boundaries of dharma. Not crossing dharma in any corrupt method, anyhow compromising the interest of the nation, striking some, what we call compromising deals with other countries, or doing things which were revealing certain secrets of the land, trading away some priceless, invaluable information, secret information to people. There is no point. Or giving away the control of the economy in the hands of outsiders through investments and slowly losing one's own sovereignty. So the king must ensure that the people are protected, the righteousness is rewarded, the people who are adharmic are punished. Those people, the employment is generated and more people get productive. Their wealth also increases, national wealth also increases. Third, the economy must progress, not at the cost of righteousness. स्वेषु सेतुषु स्थापिता पृथक् तस्य मे तदनुष्ठानात् यानाहुर ब्रह्मवादिनः लोकास्यु कामसन्दोहा यस्य तुष्यति दिष्टदृक्. So he says, by doing this, three main duties he has enlisted. In that dharma also is there, economy is also there, people's employment is also there, their prosperity also is there. That's why the word gudha was used. In just three main duties, so many things are included. National interest also is there. Everything is there in that. And he says that by doing this, I hope to attain to those realms which yield what one desires, and as the expounders of the Vedas declare, one will get the pleasure of the Lord also, meaning one will win the blessings of the Lord. So by doing my dharma, I hope to attain purity of mind and mukti. That's the point. And that's what Raja's objective is. Raja is not saying that I want to glorify myself. Everybody should remember me as a great king. For that, I will expand the territory anyhow. I will ensure that I become a dictator. I fill my coffers with more and more wealth. Let the praja go to hell. He is a servant of the praja, sevak of the praja. But he is in the position where he must ensure that dharma is protected. So nyaya has to be done. Evil has to be punished. Dharma has to be protected. All that is his duty. And why does he want to do the duty? Not for self-glorification, but for self-purification. It's very important. We can apply all this in any position that we are. He himself says, I have been put in this position. That is a nimitta bhav. We are put in this, each one of us are put in specific positions. In that position, what is my duty I should do and dedicate it to Bhagavan. Then he also says, what is that which will ensure, what is that which will also lead to the downfall of that king. So he says here in the 24th one, Na uddharet karam raja praja dharmeshva shikshayan prajanam shamalam bhungte bhagam chasvam jahati saha. Very important line. He says, Na uddharet karam raja. The king who levies taxes but fails to teach the praja their sacred duties. Dharma, dharmeshu ashikshayan. The duty of the Raja is to tell Praja what Dharma is. If Raja has to rule dharmically, Praja also should live in a dharmic way. For that, Praja should know what is Dharma. And whose duty it is to teach that? Raja says it is the duty of the, it is the Raja's duty. So it is the duty of the state to teach the people what is morality, what is right, what is wrong, and in general, establish law and order by ensuring people follow righteousness and desist away from unrighteousness. And today the state does not want to do anything to do with religion and rites and rituals and dharma and all that. And in some cases, it is true also. The state, the people who are in power, they themselves are not living in dharmic way. How can they tell people? Then it will look like moral policing, or why is the government interfering in our private lives, and all that will happen. First, the Raja told his duties, that he has to live in a dharmic way, and what he was enjoying is only for the exhaustion of the punya karma. He doesn't have bhogavritti in his mind, and he is a dharmic person, devoted to Bhagavan. All that is said earlier. So the leader is living in a righteous way. Then it applies to the praja also. Praja will also follow them. So he says, if a person levies taxes but is not giving dharmic jnana to the praja, then what will happen? That person reaps sin and forfeits all the fortune. See that? Prajanam shamalam bhungte. And also the sins that praja commits will come to the king. Why? Because you didn't do your duty. This applies at all levels. Parents don't teach dharma to the children. If children do papa karma, parents also will get karma of that children. Because as a parent, I didn't teach. I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. This is a scriptural declaration. Whether one wants to believe or not, that is up to each one. But the Shastra says, because karma is that which has brought people together. Parent and child, they are bound by their own karma. That's how the two jivas have come together. Now the jiva who is playing the role of a parent must instruct the child about what is dharma, what is right, what is wrong, what is devotion to Bhagavan, what is the purpose of life, why are we here. All that has to be done. If that is not done, see, after that is done, the child still does whatever the child wants to do, and that is the karma of that child. One has come with that baggage and vasanas, then that is the child's lookout. But if the parent has not done the duty, same applies, even in a corporate company. If you don't tell the rules to the employees, the orientation is not done, and the employee behaves the way they want, then obviously the consequences the company has to bear or not. If they do something wrong, the reputation of the company is at stake. Similarly, it applies here also. It applies to the king and the praja, it applies to the employer and the employee, to the parent and the child, to the teacher and the student also. And the teacher doesn't teach dharma properly, and a student behaves the way one wants to behave, then the papa karma done by the student will come to the teacher. You see that? Prajanam shamalam bhungte. King has to bear. So the king is telling the praja that I will do my duties, but you do your duties and help me. He is already doing dharmic things, doing the yajna, yaga, and ensuring the brahmanas are revered, and brahmanas are supposed to be the ones who will pass on the knowledge. The kshatriyas ensure that the brahmanas are protected, and the praja takes care of the brahmanas also through the dakshina, dan, etc. So through the raja, through the praja, the brahmanas get their due, and they in turn will ensure that dharma palan happens. So both the brahmana and kshatriya are responsible for dharma palan in the society. So that is a combination. Both have to be together. Now here, that's why he says, Prajanam shamalam bhungte. A sovereign who levies tax but fails to teach people their sacred duties reaps their sin and forfeits his fortune, and his fortune also gone. So existing fortune gone, and the sin also he takes up. Now that is so a lot of suffering for the Raja then. Prajanam shamalam bhungte bhagam cha swam jahati. Bhaga is that fortune. One's own fortune also one will lose. Tat praja bhartrapindartham swarthamevana suyavaha kuruta dhokshaja dhiyaha tadhi me nugraha kritaha. So he says that you free your mind from any form of insecurity, jealousy, and fix the mind on Bhagwan. Adhokshaja, what is written here, no? Adhokshaja dhi, meaning in your mind, in the buddhi, you please think of Bhagwan. He's telling, the Raja is telling the people. Remember, after he is following it, he is telling the people that please keep your mind on the Lord and do your own duty for the good in the other world of your ruler. Meaning, for my good, please do. Your good to anyway will happen, but my good also will happen only when you follow Dharma. So the position of the king is a great responsibility. It's not just simply some power that one is having and one can wield power in whichever way one wants. Praja's karma is connected to the Raja. Raja's karma will influence the Praja. So the both, they have karmic bonds, and each one's karma will affect the other. Today, where do we even think of any of this? Each one is living in their own selfish world. Praja doesn't care for the leader, leader doesn't care for the Praja. But whether we know it or not, karma will affect. The influence will be there of both, of each one's karma on the other. So here he says, you please do this for my good. Is a request. A very unique one. Generally, one has not heard all this. Generally, one says the first point that he said was what we generally hear, that okay, Raja must protect the Praja, Raja must ensure the employment opportunities, the nation is taken care of, economy is progressing, national interest is not compromised, all that. But karma of the Raja is connected to the Praja. If Raja is ruling dharmically, it will bless the Praja. And if the Praja is following Dharma, it will help the Raja. Here also and in the hereafter also. So he says, you please do this as a favor to me. Then he says that please lend your hearty support to this prayer of mine. And he tells all the Devatas, Pitrus, the Rishis, all of them. Then he goes on to say in the 27th one, Asti Yajna Patir Nama Keshanchid Arha Sattamaha Iha Mutracha Lakshante Jyotsnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. A very important one. The Raja is saying that there definitely exists God. And today we find so many leaders and governments and whatever the political parties storming to power, retaining their power by being anti-God, anti-Dharma. Here the Raja is saying so clearly that there is a God, Yajnapatir Nama Asti. There is God, there is no doubt about it. What is the proof? The proof, he says, that both here and hereafter can be seen the results of actions are received by the jivas, and in some cases it is said places of enjoyment as well as bodies which are endowed with uncommon brilliance. Each one of us are doing karma. How does the karma phala come to us? Even those who are glorious, how is the karma phala? How is it that somebody is born with some special talent, somebody is specially challenged, somebody is rich, somebody is poor? If we say it is random, then there is chaos in the world. Law of cause and effect does not work, karma does not work. And suppose we say, no, law of cause and effect works, but then law is inert law. Law cannot come into existence on its own. There has to be a sentient entity which is a lawmaker. That entity is called God. Call it God, call it consciousness, reality, truth, whatever name. But there exists that higher reality, supreme reality, which ensures that every jiva gets appropriate bodies, appropriate environments, the results of their karma, and they are able to exhaust their karmas, and each one gets bodies according to what they need. So plant, animal, human, yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, asura, deva, rakshasas, any body. How does one get? There has to be one entity. So he says, Asti Yajna Patir Nama, Iha Amutra Cha Lakshante, here also and hereafter also. We see results being given, and many places exceptional talents, exceptional manifestations also happen. All that is based on karma. And who is the karma phaladata? That is the Yajnapati, is the Supreme Lord. Then he says, in our lineage, so many kings have had this bhavana. So he lists down Swayambhu Manu, Uttanapar, then Dhruva, then Priyavrata, then the Anga, all of them had this. They were astics, they were not nastics. See how important it is for the Raja to believe in existence of God, in importance of Dharma, in the value of the rites and rituals, in ensuring that the knowledge of scriptures, etc., is passed on to the masses. These are very important. Then the culture in that land will be the Adhyatmic culture, where people will not just focus on the bodies. They will think about higher realities. That body is only a tool. We are not this body. Worship of Bhagavan, dedicating actions to the Lord, purification of the mind, realization of the truth. Those higher ideals will be a part of the society only then. If Raja only is Nastic, and the whole intention is destroy the temples, don't promote the Dharmic culture, then what will be the society's situation? There will obviously be a complete materialistic outlook, bodies, maximum focus, enjoyment, eating, drinking, liquor, this, that. That is what we see or not. So much revenue the states make from selling alcohol. Absolutely adharmic activity. Raja is supposed to protect Dharma. Raja only is ensuring that liquor is provided, and through that maximum revenue they will earn. Then naturally there will be all kinds of challenges in the society. There will be drugs, there will be depression, there will be suicides, young people committing suicides, going into drugs, destroying the whole future of the country. All for selfish, petty benefits of some material money which they are not even going to carry with them. And how many lakhs and crores stashed up somewhere? For what? All delusion only. The Gita Bhagavan gives that in the 9th chapter. Moghasha, Mogha Karmana, Mogha Jnana, Vichetasaha. Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva, Prakritim Mohinim Shritaha. They are bound under the Mohini Prakriti of Bhagavan. They have vain desires, Moghasha, vain actions, Mogha Karmana, vain knowledge, Mogha Jnana, Vichetasaha. Completely opposite. Here it is, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakritim Ashritaha Bhajantyananya Manasaha Mamevan Uttamam Gatim. They will attain supreme reality. Who are the Mahatmas? Who remember Bhagavan? And that Siddhanta of Karma Yoga, the Raja is living and telling the Praja, you live. Because without belief in God, Karma Yoga is not possible. One can say, I am serving the country, I am serving the society. To some extent, Karma Yoga is possible there, no doubt. But in its completeness, Karma Yoga happens only when Ishvara Arpana Bhav comes. That why am I doing this? The country also is being taken care of by Bhagavan only. And country is a geographical construct, a boundary, which will help the individual to give back. Because from here is what one has taken everything. So one gives back. But what limits the person? But that will limit the person to a certain extent, because country has a certain boundary and it is limited, finite. Only when we say that I am serving Bhagwan through this seva of my country, then it becomes full 100% karma yoga. It should connect me to the infinite, because that is what I will become. And if the Raja is able to live that, and then the Raja is teaching the Praja that live like this, and for that please understand God exists. Fashion it is to say today, no God, I don't believe in God. A dumbness actually. And illogical absolutely. Who created this whole universe? No, science created. Science is only telling the material cause of the universe. 5 elements and all that stuff. There's only material cause. Where is the intelligent cause? Where is the instrumental cause? No idea about that. No, I don't believe in God, I believe in nature. And nature is an inert power. Unless it is not connected with the infinite sentient consciousness, it is just inert power. We say it is the inherent power of Bhagwan. So through nature we worship Bhagwan only. Through Prakriti we want to experience Purusha. So whichever way one sees, one has to believe in God. Whether it is law of cause and effect, whether it is nature, whether it is some power, whatever, 5 elements, anything, it has to come to God. So he says, Asti Yajna Patir Nama Keshanchid Arha Sattamaha. All these great people, they tell. So all of them, these kings, he is tracing from Swayambhu Manu onwards, he said all of them have been believers. Except this one, his father, that is Vena. Even these children, so even Prahlada and Bali, they all also believed. They all believed in Bhagwan Narayana, who is the sole independent means of securing the 3 objects of human pursuit, meaning Artha, Kama, Dharma, as well as heavenly bliss and final beatitude. All of this is possible only through the grace of Bhagwan. So whatever one desires, if one says, no, I don't want moksha, I want only fulfillment of desires, I want enjoyment in life, that also is not possible without Bhagwan. How will enjoyment happen without Bhagwan? The environment has to be there, the bodies have to be there, the capabilities in the senses and the mind has to be there, knowledge has to be there, that this is called enjoyment, this is this particular object, this is called sweet, that is called sour, this is called cold, that is called heat, all that. From where all that is happening? Whether one wants wealth, no, Swamiji, I am very busy, I don't have any time to believe in God, I am pursuing wealth. So who is giving us the capability to pursue wealth? And how are you even getting that wealth? Without the blessings of Mother Lakshmi, that wealth will not even come. And if I have that Shraddha, then so much more that wealth will not get into my head and destabilize. The surrender to the Lord will be there, then everything happens. So whether I'm pursuing wealth or prosperity or this enjoyment or even dharma, dharma without Bhagwan is what dharma? And of course, moksha is to be one with the Lord. So all the 4 pursuits happen only with Bhagwan's grace and belief in the Lord, Shraddha in Bhagwan. Actually, we should not even say belief. That Shraddha that Bhagwan exists, Asti Yajnapatir Nama. There is Yajnapati. That Shraddha when one has, then everything becomes possible, remaining anchored in that devotion to the Lord. So here he says that all this, everyone believed except this Vena, his father, and a few others who were deluded in the matter of righteousness, and they deserve to be pitied therefore. Vargas Vargapavarganam Prayenaikatmya Hetuna. That's the last line here, 30th shloka, second line. Vargas, Varga and Apavarga. Varga means this Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Swarga means enjoyment in the heaven, and Apavarga means moksha. So all these come only by Bhagwan's grace, and all the kings in our lineage, they have believed except this one Vena Raja. And we saw the result of that Vena Raja when he did not believe in God and what all he was doing, torturing himself, torturing the Praja. It is terrible. Because if Bhagwan is not there, then ego is maximum. Now, having said this, that please believe in God, have Shraddha in God. The Raja is telling the Praja. Because then Karma Yoga will happen, and then through that, you will prosper, and I will also be able to get get whatever the good karmas, good results are here and hereafter. Then he continues, like the Gangaji has flowed from the toe of Bhagwan Vishnu, the pious and ever increasing relish one finds in adoring his feet immediately wipes out the impurity of the mind. Now, why should I remember Bhagwan? Just like Gangaji purifies the whole world, same way this devotion to the Supreme Lord will purify our mind. From what? The impurities, the avidya, vikshepa, mala, which we have collected in so many lives. See the vision of the king. One is economic prosperity and material prosperity, employment, punishing the good and punishing the wicked and protecting the good, so law, order, all that. That is not the only job of the king. Praja's hit is the job of the king. And in what is the hit of Praja? In Dharma and in Brahma. So he says, live in Dharmic way. How to live in Dharmic way? Until I don't have Shraddha in Bhagwan, the Shraddha in Dharma will not come. Today, that is our problem. One of the problems is that. Why should I follow values? Others are not following. Why should I follow? That is because we don't know how values will help us to purify our mind and why purity of mind is required. Not purity of mind is required also for in the world to live happily with good harmonious relationships, being polite, humble, loving to people, experiencing happiness within, being contented, enjoying every moment of life, learning to accept ups and downs with grace and equanimity. All that requires purity. And through that, finally, one will also get mukti. That has to become clear why purity is required. Today we don't have, so Shraddha in Bhagwan is not there. Dharma also one doesn't want to believe, one does not read the scriptures. And then one just goes by some whatever notions one is in the society that are prevalent, and then one lives the life. So naturally there will be discord, disharmony. Now here the Raja is giving the whole big picture that you are also here to evolve, I am also here to evolve. And when we dedicate karma to Bhagwan, then it will purify our mind, and he says that trials and tribulations of mundane existence accumulated in the course of all previous births, all that will go. And that's the only method. There's no other method to come out of this. Then he says, even the man who has taken shelter in the soles of his feet is completely rid of all the impurities of mind, and acquiring the special power of dispassion and realization never returns to worldly life, which brings misery in its train. This worldly life will only bring misery. And the job of the king is to alleviate the suffering of the people. How? The root cause has to be eliminated. Look at the duty of the king given here. Does anybody even understand this much in the depth? That what is our job? When Bhagavan is saying here, if Raja is the Pratinidhi of Ishvara, then Raja's job is to lead people to Ishvara. So how beautiful is that? And for that, the Raja should create the Vyavastha in the whole Rajya. That is called the ultimate good of the Praja. Ultimate good of the Praja doesn't remain in materialistic culture. If somebody says that, in my leadership, under my party, in my kingdom, there is so much economic prosperity, there is enjoyment, there are so much, infrastructure development, this, that. Of course, that is one thing. One can develop that. But that is not enough. Because material affluence we will create, but spiritual poverty, if it is there, what is the point? Not only spiritual poverty is there, one is going anti-religion, one is going anti-spiritual laws and dharma. What is the great development one has achieved then? And one will only suffer in luxury. That's all will happen. And that is what we are seeing. So many developed countries that is happening. And we are not opening our eyes to that. Material prosperity, no doubt, has one role to play in life, but it cannot be only that. It has to be based on the spiritual ideals. And everywhere this is depicted in our culture. Lakshmi Devi standing on a lotus. Why? Because that's the strength, that's the foundation. That's the visualization that has been done to impress upon our mind that your material prosperity must be anchored in the spiritual knowledge and in service to Bhagwan. Krishna Bhagwan and Arjun sitting on the Rath. Again the same symbolism. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. So that is the point to understand. The ultimate good of the people is in destroying the root cause of their sorrow. It's not in just building hospitals or schools and orphanages and providing employment. That is one aspect necessary, no question about that. But one cannot stop with that, and one cannot say that it is better to open all this than to support spiritual development. Okay? Both have to go together. One can't do at the cost of the other. If only spiritual development happens without paying attention to anything else, then actually that is not even true spiritual development, because then that's a very lopsided vision and that is not spiritual development. And if only material prosperity keeps on happening without any spiritual backing and grounding, it will only lead to sorrows, more and more and more sorrows. So here it is said, this Raja's job is that na samsritim kleshavaham prapadyate. 32nd verse he says, na samsriti. Samsriti means this cycle of birth and death. See the king's duty, na, how beautiful it is. He says that please do all this so that you will get free from all sorrows. That is the jnana that the king is giving to the Praja. You will become free from all these sorrows once and for all, never to return into the worldly life. Then he says, confident of achieving the goal according to your individual merits and free from hypocrisy, worship him alone. Bhajatatma vrittibhir manovacha kaya gunaihi. With your mind, with your speech, with your body, with your qualities, you worship him alone, whose lotus feet are capable of yielding whatever you desire. Swakarma bihi. So he says, you please worship. Little more is there in this chapter that we will take up in our next class. Any questions for today?
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बनिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की, मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल बैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की, मंगल आरती। मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यमग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।